Hello everybody, welcome to the third podcast of the Sleepover with Ben and Jodie. Minus the Jodie, actually this week it was just me flying solo. Jodie was away on a secret space mission. She got called in by the CIA, as is always the case. She called me up midweek and just said, listen, Ben, there's this pretty important case that I've got to deal with. And, I said, well, as long as it, doesn't interfere with the show. And she said, well, unfortunately, it's between 2 and 6 in the morning on Saturday morning. That's when they want me. So I've got to go. And, kind of put me in a pickle. But you got to let these things slide every once in a while. So Jodie was away for the show, leaving me to sort of drive it on my own. Although having said that, we did get a couple of special guests in, which you'll hear. So it wasn't too bad in the end, really. We're going to edit it all down into a nice little podcast for you, highlighting some of the best bits, I guess, of the show. Thanks for downloading and thanks for supporting as well for Triple Z, Brisbane's community radio station. So thank you very much for your support. Hope you enjoy the show. A bit of a weird one this week. Normal business will resume next week. Okay, thanks guys, enjoy.
Sleepover. 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 Sleepover.
It's fantastic.
Sleepover.
Really, really quite good.
Sleepover.
I listen to it in my pajamas because I'm normally, asleep. We've been joined now by Suzanne Truz-Top. Have I pronounced your name correct, Suzanne? Is that right?
That's correct, Ben, yes.
Truz, Truz-Top, T-O-P-P.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Susan.
Double P.
Double P, yeah. To those of you who don't know, Suzanne is local. You're from Brisbane, is that correct?
Born and bred, yeah.
Born and bred. Born and bred is actually the name of your good plug there, your new cookery book.
Well, actually, that's my old one. I've got a new one coming out, but that was my first cooking book.
The first one, Born and Bred, was a bestseller on, was it Amazon? You sort of uploaded it as an ebook, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
And it went haywire.
It went mad, didn't it?
It really did, And I mean, that was a hobby.
You've got a new cookery book, and this is interesting. This is aimed specifically at grannies.
Grannies, yeah.
Now, what was the thinking behind that then? Just aiming it solely at that sort of demographic?
Well, Ben, I mean, you look at the shows on TV today, and you've got a lot of MasterChef and My Kitchen Rules and all this sort of rubbish, and it's all aimed at these young, exciting,
absolutely,
gourmet chefs that want to make, fun, new, interesting food. And I just think, stuff that. I'm more about cooking for the grannies, and I want to see some old jams and some, a bit of Victoria sponge cake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your caramel slice, obviously, famously, was a big hit, wasn't it, with the celebrities? I know a lot of the gossip mags have sort of reprinted your recipe for caramel slice. It's slightly alternate. You don't use any caramel, do you? In the slice.
That's controversial.
Yeah.
That is controversial.
Yeah.
I shaped that, and it actually doesn't have any caramel. No, it's actually just chocolate.
It's just a bar of chocolate, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I sort of threw that in there in my recipe book just to sort of keep grannies on their toes.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you it worked.
For Triple Z.
I'm joined in the studio though by Suzanne Truz-Top. Suzanne is a chef, but you didn't start off as a chef, did you? I mean, you had quite an illustrious sporting career, didn't you, before you sort of went into cooking?
Sort of, yeah. I started off in the circus.
Yes, I read about this. Now, you were a lion tamer, is that correct?
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Do you think the skills are transferable, from sort of taming, lions to...
God, yes.
Yeah, working in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I was going to say there must be a
the
link.
pressure that I can still think now when you first encounter a wild animal, it's very, very similar to cooking certain foods. Yeah. I know my kitchen gets hot and heavy like it did back in my circus days. Absolutely.
And you like to sort of recreate the circus atmosphere in the kitchen, is that correct? I read somewhere you sort of lay straw out around the place, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I sort of, I sometimes dress up in my old gear as well, instead of sort of, some may put on an apron.
Yeah, but you just get the whip out and
top hat,
start whipping.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
You've written many sort of cooking books over the years.
I have.
Tell us about Cooking for C. What was that? What was the premise for that one? It was all foods, just beginning with C. Is that correct?
Yeah, I lived with a really fantastic girl who we called C. So sort of it was a mixture of, because I found that I was often cooking for her, but also she liked foods that started, strangely enough, with the letter C.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
she'd only eat foods that started with C. Or
carrots, capsicum.
Yeah.
Just to name a few.
Courgettes.
She loved courgettes, loved cake, chocolates.
Yeah.
But I decided to set myself a challenge and only cook meals that required ingredients that started with C, which can be really tough. If you want to make
crusty bread.
Well, not so much, no, because you're bringing in the B there, Ben.
Well, it's crusty.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. I could only serve the crust alone.
Custard.
Yeah.
That's a food.
Yeah, you've got the idea.
Yeah. Cream. So that's great, and that was quite a success for you as well, wasn't it?
Oh God, it was huge, especially in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually Sesame Street picked that one up.
Yeah, wow, I
Cookie
remember...
Monster did a whole segment on it.
Yeah, wow, and that's available on YouTube, I believe.
Yeah.
Stereo, 4ZZZ, 102.1 FM.
So yes, thank you very much for joining us at such a late hour as well, Suzanne. You're just head home now, I suppose. And what have you got planned for your Saturday? Get cooking.
I normally start cooking at about 2:45 every single day.
Is in the morning, 2:45 in the morning. Yeah.
Okay. And I just cook all the way through for about 12 hours.
Okay. Well, let's hope you don't. Hope you don't burn anything.
We can only hope.
We can only hope. Suzanne, thank you so much for taking the time for joining us. Best of luck with the book, Cooking with Grannies. That is available absolutely nowhere.
Maybe I'm feeling tired. Cooking for Grannies.
Cooking for Grannies. What did you say? Cooking with Grannies?
I did. I know I like to do that, but it's Cooking for Grannies.
That's the last thing you want to do is cook a granny.
Well, I've done that too.
1, 2, 3, 4ZZZ.
We've got another guest in the studio. Hello, Naomi Visto.
Hello, Ben.
Naomi, thanks for joining us at such an early hour in the morning.
It's great to be here.
Naomi, if no one is aware, is one of Brisbane's premier Shakespearean actresses.
Mm-hmm.
You've certainly tread the boards.
I'm comfortable with that title, but I'll take it.
Well, I'm just repeating what the critics say, Naomi. Listen, you've got a new version of Macbeth that you're working on at the moment, isn't that right? There's something slightly different about it as well.
There's something very different about it, Ben.
Yeah.
It is done by a company, you've probably heard Shakespeare in the Park,
Yep.
and there's quite a few different Shakespearean companies that put out their own shows, and this one's called Shakespeare in the Nude. So I'm working with a new company called Shakespeare in the Nude,
Yep.
and we are currently working on Macbeth, and I should point out that it will be a completely naked version of Macbeth.
Now, is this is just in selected theatres, or you're going on? Hopefully, you want to go on tour with this as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's confirmed. It will be going on tour.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
you're playing mostly prisons. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's actually sort of just outside the prisons, not actually in, because they were worried, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. It's some distance out from the prison as well.
It is, but it's on an elevated stage,
Okay.
so the obviously the inmates will be able to see us.
Yeah, sure. And that's great. I mean, in some circumstances, I mean, you're several miles away from the prisons themselves, though.
Oh
Naomi?
God,
So-
yeah. But again, you know, they're really they're brilliant stages that they build, and they're
amazing.
quite high. And
Yeah. Well, I mean, how do you find performing Shakespeare in the Nude?
I'm very comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm nude most of the time.
And do you find that it enhances your acting abilities? It's just
Well,
to be
that's
completely
what-
free, I'd imagine.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you asked. The director of Shakespeare in the Nude, his name is, he's sort of the coordinator of the company. His
Yeah.
name's John Bullstop. He he believes that, if we strip ourselves of these, stupid things like clothing,
Material
outlandish
goods.
costumes to
Yeah.
sort of enhance Shakespeare's plays. If we strip us right down to our bare minimum, or our bare bottoms, then our true acting potential can really shine.
And I guess it's true to form. I mean, what a lot of people don't know about Shakespeare, obviously, is he was a nudist, wasn't he? He was constantly in the
much
nude.
so.
Very much, yeah. I don't think that's actually documented anywhere, but it's true, and that's the
It
main
absolutely
thing.
is
Yeah.
true.
And you don't think that the audience find it distracting in any way, do you? I mean, it's still the same text, is it? You haven't changed any of the... I mean, I heard that you sort of put in words like bum. You insert the odd double entendre there into the actual text. I mean...
That's true.
Yeah.
Basically, the only thing that John decided to keep when writing the play, in the play, for it to be the same as Macbeth, the only thing that's the same, really, are the character names.
Okay, so that's interesting approach to Macbeth. So he's kept all the character names, but he's changed most of the words, has he? So most of the lines that the the actors say are all different.
All of the lines.
All of them are different. Great. So wow, that's certainly taking quite a radical approach to.
It's radical theatre. That's what we're all about.
102.1 megahertz of free radio.
Wow. Yes. So, it's a bit weird. Just listen back to that show. Was interesting. Listen, normal business resumes next week. Jodie will be back. Thank you very much for downloading. Thank you for listening and supporting the Sleepover with Ben and Jodie on 4ZZZ. Again, check the Facebook for any updates and be sure to log on to the website, which is www.4zzzfm.org.au. So, thanks, guys. Okay, take care. We'll do the same next week. Bye-bye.
4ZZZ FM.